is February the 4th, 2026. So in this dream, I was in a house and there was family and friends that I knew. Um, um, Outside where the house was located was just a regular house. All of a sudden, it was like almost like I guess like an earthquake that happened. And then when we ended up going outside, it was like so many different platforms. Like the earth had like broke up, but we were kind of we were at different levels in the sky, but on platforms of like pieces of land. And I heard the word 3,200. It's 3,200 acres. But the people that broke where the ground broke up, whoever was just like in that area, that was like its own platform. And then like maybe across the city, several other platforms. So each platform probably had like, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 homes, if that, and a whole bunch of like space. But it was like on the platform, there were different elevations. Like my house was toward like one of the highest because there was a waterfall that used to be right there, but like everything had froze when this happened. Like so snow appeared, the little waterfall slide thing that was frozen. So when I walked outside, and the walls, like each, it was like levels on the platform. So when I walked up to like an ice wall, and I looked over, and when I looked over, I kind of looked down, and the once waterfall was frozen, and it went down like to the next tier and the next tier, going down like that. And in the middle of the platform was like flat, kind of like a football stadium type of thing. um and so in the middle were people. You saw people shoveling, you saw people. I saw like this stand that had, from way up there though, I'm not really sure how I was able to see it, but it had like a little small box of like crayons, scissors, maybe some rulers, like. And so I was like, and I saw people with those tools in their hand. I'm like, okay, where's the store? And then they pointed like it's right there, and it was like I don't know if it was in somebody's house, but it was more like it was the I don't know what it was made of, but I can only see the front of the front side, which was covered by like these two big sheets, but it was like blue, like not blankets, but like a real flimsy door covering that was solid and opaque, but it was like a royal blue type of color. But if you walk through, they said that it would be like the supply room. So each platform had people that lived there, had, I guess the same thing that we did. But what I got from it when I looked, I was like, wow, this really took us back, because obviously, I think the internet might have still worked, because I remember I was like, okay, I'm gonna email a friend and let them know, like, hey, this is what's going on. So I think the email still worked, the internet, for some odd reason, even though I didn't get around to doing it yet. But to me, I got the impression like, oh man, we're gonna have to go back to like the beginning, where it's, planting seeds, growing our own, everything, because I don't even know how the supplies would have been delivered. Like if it was already prepped and stocked. Um, I do believe that there was a little bit more prior to this portion of the dream. But this is all I remember as far as I don't know. Like it was other things, of course, that led up to it. Like again, just being in the house, talking to family, friends, like kind of like a day to day. Um, Somehow in a dream, a friend of mine, I don't know if I was in a virtual world or something, and they were like, hey, everything just turned to snow, or everything just turned to ice. And then I tried to like teleport over, and my computer ended up crashing. So, but instead of logging back, I guess, into my computer, I I think I walked away, but when I walked away, that's when um I guess the shaking and everything, and I went out, and it was snow, like covered everywhere. And that's when I started to see, and I'm gonna try to create a picture of what I saw, so you guys can get a idea of what that was. But and so from it, I also felt like it was man-made. Whatever this thing was, it allowed the ground to break up the way that it did and separate us. I feel like we were restricted, and kind of like forced to stay in certain areas, and everything that we would have needed would have been right in that area, right in on that platform. It was really no way for us to get over to like other platforms, jump over there. We couldn't swim over there. We couldn't fly over there. Like, it's just, this was where we had to be. So I don't know. I just got a sense that this was kind of pre-planned. Um, some sort of something magnetic shift that took place to that forced us to be, you know, in a specific area, not having but so much, and having to kind of till the ground and you know, make our own food and stuff like that, other than what we already had in our houses. I didn't see a grocery store. It was just like a little, not container, but it was something you could just walk in and just get supplies. So I didn't see any food or anything like that. So, but anyways, I just wanted to, you know, say this before I forgot. Okay, thanks. Bye. Alrighty, so I just wanted to come back and add to this latest dream as I listened back to it, to give more analysis. And many times I have to do that because although I wake right up and do the recording, I don't always know exactly what it means. And in this regard, I still don't. However, I do believe that, you know, my dreams are warnings, and I do believe that in this particular one, you know, I was pre-warned, I was forewarned. There was a shaking of some sort that took place, that shifted the lives of like everybody. And wherever you were when this shaking took place was where you would stay, where you would be. When, you know, when again, I don't know if it was, you know, heaven sent. I don't know if it was more so man-made, but it kind of came to my mind of 15-minute cities, where you know, everything would be right there within a 15-minute sort of radius, and travel bans, because there was just like no way to go over to any of the other platforms. And I also wanted to give a better picture of the platforms. If you think about like Avatar, when you had like floating mountains, we weren't that far in the air, but definitely far enough off the ground, but not like in space, not like touching the clouds or anything like that. Definitely well below that, but from a distance and from the height of where my home was within that particular platform, if I glanced around, I could see many other floating platforms, and or again, it looked like the the movie Avatar, the floating mountains. And so I just kind of wanted to let you guys know that I believe some sort of implementation is going to happen soon, and it's going to pretty much catch everybody off guard. I don't think nobody was prepared on our end, the receiving end, but I do believe the powers that be definitely already knew what it was, because they already had the proper necessities and or tools available for the people. Again, I'm not really sure how it would have been able to be restocked, unless maybe helicopters or something made it to each person's platform. But again, wherever you were residing in that little, and again, the platforms were pretty big. So, I mean, 30, 40, 50 houses is a nice chunk of a neighborhood. Or, yeah, it could have probably been more than that, but that's kind of, an estimate of what I saw. But nice chunks of neighborhoods would be secluded. And I didn't see, like, if anybody was coming to relieve us. We would have had to have been on our own, and tilling the ground and shoveling, doing everything to begin the process of self-preservation, honestly. And I also wanted to mention, as far as the ground, because whenever the shaking had taken place, I mentioned that the platforms were like tiers, like if you thought of a stadium and you were at the top looking down. So each row of seats, but obviously not that close, maybe like every 10, 20 rows, it was like another layer of homes that had trees and everything. And it was a nice, big, huge chunk. Again, I believe each platform was like the size of a stadium. So it was enough homes and field and trees and stuff like that to have enough space in between each neighbor. But what I noticed was, like, when I went outside and I looked over the wall, I noticed from each tier that the walls were like, I don't know, waist high or so, but they weren't like the big boulders and rocks that would have been normally on the ground. They were kind of smushed together, so it kind of looked more of like a pancake, but like just covered in snow type of thing. It was just flat, and it just kind of bordered each tier, each as you just look down, the whole is like one big circle of rock that's covered in snow going around the entire thing. And so again, just kind of trying to paint that picture. So guys, if you guys have any kind of interpretation of what this sounds like it could be, please leave it in the comments section below. I would love to get your take on it. Again, this was a very quick dream, but I do believe that there is something, that's some sort of shift that's about to happen, because again, we were definitely unaware. It just happened, and we walked right into whatever this was. And I definitely was perplexed, and it just became the new norm. Like, okay, dang, like, this is crazy. How are we supposed to survive? This is all that they gave us. I don't, again, know how plentiful the supply room, quote unquote, was. Kind of remind me of like a cave, just with one entrance open, but that entrance had, those two thick blue cloth like flannel. You can kind of walk right through it. Sort of, you know, display. I guess, again, I'm looking from way up top, so I could kind of, I mean, it was very visible to the eye as far as the color, in the height of in the width, honestly, too, of the supply room. And then as I'm talking, it also makes me remember, when they talk about, supplies and everything being stored underground, whether it's for the elite or what have you. But, a lot of times they'll say, oh, recall on X, Y, and Z, blah, blah. In my personal opinion, I don't think that that's totally accurate. I think 85% of it is false. I think they store a lot of things tucked away in the caves, underground, I guess for quote unquote a rainy day. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know where, I don't want to just speculate, but again, I like to just kind of verbalize it, and so I can always go back to reference. And again, I do share because I'm always led to share, and again, this is the Lord's channel, so this is why I come to you guys, so you all can also be in the know, to the possibility of futuristic things, taking place in some capacity. A lot of times it's pretty direct. Other times there's slight metaphors or just similarities, symbolism and things like that. So you definitely have to have an eye to see and ears to hear what the Lord is always saying. And like I said, guys, I'm only a vessel. I don't know it all. He definitely reveals in part. And some dreams are always longer than others. Some I completely just forget. And I always pray that it kind of comes back to my remembrance. But I remember what he wants me to remember. So that's all I have for you guys. Again, if y'all think of anything, please let me know and leave it in the comment section below. Thank you so much. Bye. All right, guys, I have one more interpretation. I do apologize. I wish I could have had it all in one kind of recording there, but I've definitely been sitting on this dream. And every interpretation, every time I go back over it, there's a different interpretation. And so I'll be posting this one today, but then as I'm listening, I felt like it's been in my spirit because my interpretation of it was wrong. And so that's probably why the Lord was just like, nope, that's not right, and then I wait a few more days and then another kind of interpretation comes. But what if this shaking, now mind you, we have all these homes, people, different, on the platforms, right? And we know that the Lord will be separating, right, tares from wheat. So I'm thinking, what if, obviously, the Lord is doing his thing, he separates us, and he provides to us a way to still sustain ourselves, right? So we have all these homes on different platforms, and in the very middle, we have a way to, shovel, seeds. We have things to, to plant, to harvest. We have supplies, right, that are in the supply room behind the blue kind of sheet there. I guess a cave or what have you. I have tried to, again, create some AI images of what the dream looked like. So definitely chime in on this one, guys. This was definitely one of the more bizarre dreams that I've had. Very simplistic, but very bizarre because I don't understand the separation. I don't understand the separation. So My last interpretation could be correct, but you know, who am I, right? So I'll just continue to pray on it. And if guys, you all have a better, you know, perspective, please drop it in the comment section because I would love to read it. This could signify a lot of different things, but whatever is going to take place, whether it's physically or whether it's spiritually. And I like to combine both together because it's really a 2-in-1, to be honest. So with that being said, guys, I'll go ahead and end it here. You guys be blessed and look up, for our redemption draweth nigh.